to inspire for the 2026. So each and everyone, on behalf of the management of Mark George Consulting Limited, welcome each and everyone to the first section of the program. My name is Abdraman Mariam, and I'll be your anchor for today's section. It is truly a pleasure to have you all join us as we begin this exciting journey of learning, leadership, and personal development. For those that was able to join us last week Saturday, we did a brief introduction to You Inspire program. So for those that are just joining that, this will be the first meeting they'll be joining. I'll quickly speak to a brief introduction to You Inspire. You Inspire program is designed to empower and equip. When you join, kindly mute your mic if you are not speaking. And if you want to speak, you want to ask a question, you can use the reaction button by raising your hand while you be unmuted to speak. If you have a question and you don't want to speak, you can put that in the chat box as well. Please mute your mic. For the class, we encourage active participation and engagement throughout the class. Let it be interactive, ask questions. If you have a question, like I said earlier, use the reaction button by raising your hand, drop the question.
But just in case you didn't hear my name is Ebenezer Oriade, and I'm part of the facilitator for leadership. So, speaking on leadership, the following are the things we would be achieving today. The first is that you will be able to define what leadership means, and also why leadership is important, even to you as a person, and why you are even studying leadership. Understand the different leadership styles that researchers have found to exist, and to be both at individual level, institutional level, in corporate environments. We'll be looking at self-awareness and also personal values, the place of personal values and self-awareness in leadership. So these are major focus for today's section. Now, I would like to ask, what is leadership? And why does leadership matter? Why does it matter? So I would want you to respond through the chat. And if you are following on YouTube, I would want you to also drop your response there. What is leadership to you as a person? What is leadership to you as a person? And why leadership matters? I would want you to do that very quickly. I want to believe there are responses already. And I'm not seeing any response on the Zoom. I want you one or two persons. What is leadership to you as a person? If you can hear me. And why does it matter? Just in your definition. Anyone? Okay, thank you. Leadership and governing people to achieve common goal. Okay, the act of motivation. Please henceforth ensure you log in with your full name so that we would not have to call you different names. From Khadija, leadership is a dynamic process where an individual influences other members to achieve a goal. Yes, thank you. This name is funny. Leadership is the ability to guide, influence, and inspire people to achieve a common goal. All right, you're still saying the same thing? Yes. From this matric number, so I may not bother to call it. Leadership is the ability to guide, influence, support others to achieve common goal. All right, thank you so much. Yes, to me, this is Whitney YT. All right. To me, leadership is the ability to guide, influence, support people so that everyone can achieve a common goal together. It's not just about having authority or being in charge. It's more about taking responsibility. Wow, wow, thank you. Setting a positive example and help others. I keep going on and on. Thank you. I have a wonderful set of people here. Now, somebody says why it matters. Bridges, cooperation. Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. That's okay. You are all on track. Everyone is on track with the definition. And
Yes, sir. We also have some answers on YouTube as
okay, can you just read out 3 out of it for me?
all right. As someone said, leadership is the ability to guide people to achieve set objective. Christiana said, leadership to me is the ability to influence, guide, and support others toward achieving a common goal while setting a good example. It matters for strong leadership inspire people, builds teamwork. Ariwola
Yeah.
said, leadership guiding and inspiring others by setting a good example, taking responsibility, and working together to achieve a common goal.
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to proceed now. Thank you, Miriam. All right, so let's dive into it. What leadership is all about, and I would explain that by sharing with you the story of Tommy. Tommy here is a fictional character. Tommy, a final year student at the University of Ilorin. During a chaotic department week, no one was willing to coordinate the events. Tommy stepped forward, not because she had all the answers, but because she saw potential in chaos. She listened, she delegated tasks based on each person's strengths and kept the team focused when things went wrong. By the end of the week, what could have been a disaster became one of the most memorable celebrations in the history of Tommy's department. Now, in someone's camera is on, and moderator, please put off all cameras. Check the setting, please. Please, as part of the rule, no one should put on his or her camera, please. Thank you. All right. So at the end of the week, what could have been a disaster became one of the most memorable celebrations in the department's history. Now, in 2 words, I want you to describe to me very quickly. I'll read just the first 5 responses. In 2 words, describe who Tommy is. What kind of person is Tommy? In 2 words, I'll read the first 5, and I'll take 3 from the YouTube. Miriam will help me to do that. In 2 words, Tommy is an outstanding leader. That's how many words. I'm not going to repeat that. I said in 2 words. A great leader, that's 3 words. Tommy is a leader. A leader, thank you. Thank you, Abdul. Productive, proactive leader, thank you, Mobilani. Leader, that's 1 word. Tommy is self-determined and courageous. I'm not going to take that. I need 2 more. I've seen a leader, I've seen proactive leader. Passionate person. Just in 2 words. Once your comment is more than 2 words, I will not pick that. Okay, do you have any comment from the YouTube followers? Decision maker, thank you.
For now, none from the YouTube channel.
Selfless leader. Thank you so much. All right, so you are all on point. Yes, the main word there that Toby actually became a leader. A leader, that's the word, a leader. And she's whatever adjective you now qualify her with. So what then is leadership? Leadership is the arts and science. Please take note of those two keywords. The art and science of influencing, guiding, and inspiring individuals or groups toward the achievement of a common goal. It is not about titles. Please take notes. It's not about positions, and it's not about who bears the authority. It is about impact, vision, and the ability to bring out the best in others. So you will notice that from the case study of Tommy, let me quickly go back to her. You will notice that number one, the situation was common to all. It was a chaotic department with no one, including Tommy initially, was willing to coordinate. So life at that time presented all of them with the same opportunity. Now look at what Tommy did. Tommy stepped forward. That is one of the key or the core aspects of leadership, taking responsibility. Tommy stepped forward. Please take note of that. Just before I continue, for the sake of the recording, someone is marking the screen, and if the admin can help clean that off so that it won't affect my other slides, I would appreciate. Thank you.
Recording in
Leadership
progress.
is not about doing everything, even if you can. She delegated. Leadership has a lot to do with appropriate delegation. And then she kept the team focused. That's direction. Leadership has a lot to do with direction. So back to my slide on leadership. Leadership being the art and science of, you will see this core, number one, the science of influencing. The science of influencing, guiding, that's direction, inspiring individuals or groups toward achievement of the common goal. Now, I've listed those core values, those core aspects of leadership with that case study. Number one is vision. Vision is seeing others or seeing what others do not see of a better future. That's vision. Number two, influence. Influence there is moving people to act, not because they have to, but because they want to. Can you see that? You make them want to, not forcing them, not dictating them to take action, but influencing them, inspiring them by your way of life, by your readiness to also make a difference. Number three, direction. Direction is you providing clarity in uncertain times and showing them the path forward. Leadership has a lot with someone saying, okay, let's do it this way. Let us do it this way. I knew about the story of some group of students who went for COBI's community-based experience scheme in a particular town within the States, University of Learning students. And they came to a point in the course of their COBIs that they had to make decisions. They were given certain amount of money and they had to execute certain projects. Now, at a point, they got confused because the projects they planned doing now became way bigger than their budget or the money they were given. So there was need for direction, clarity. What should we do? And one of them was able to come up and say, oh guys, there's no point, being stuck with what to do because we have just small amount of money. Let's speak with the community leaders. This is how much we have. This is the project we want to embark on. And let's see what we come out of it. They embarked on the project, big project, with the money they were giving. But I tell you that because one of them was able to help them gain clarity, less dialogue, less communicate with the community leaders, that huge project that their money could not have been enough to complete, the community was able to raise sponsors from influential people among them who did that project, and that project stood out in that county today. That's direction, providing clarity when there is uncertainty. Number 4, empowerment. Empowerment is building capacity in others to become leaders themselves. Leaders raise leaders, not followers. Managers are the one that breeds followers, but leaders raise leaders. They build capacity. You will learn in the course of this training how do you build the capacity of others and where to start from. The last core aspect of leadership is responsibility. Responsibility. Responsibility is you owning the outcome. Staying true to your words, regardless of what may be the outcome, whether it's successful or failures. Some persons like to show up when things are going fine. They will just come up and, oh, I'm part of this team. But when things are going, south, they just disappear. Don't be like that kind of person. Now, why does leadership matters? We want to look into why leadership matters very quickly. And I want to believe you are following. We want to look to why leadership matters. Number 1, leadership creates direction and connects daily tasks to bigger goals. You see, when there is no, or where there is no leadership, either when or where, if at a particular time leadership is missing, or in a particular place there is no leadership, people will confuse activity with achievements. They will confuse movement with progress. Without leadership, any group, any organization or society, they are going to drift. So leadership is what provides the compass. It is what answers the question, what are we doing here? Why are we doing what we are doing? Leadership answers those questions. Leadership answers the question of where are we going? Why are we going there? Why are we going this direction? Leadership or a leader provide that answer. This has nothing to do with title. So leadership ensures that every person on the team understands, how what they are doing connects to the bigger goal of the organization, so that nobody is frustrated. When there is no leadership, meaning when there is no direction, people can get frustrated. You can tell. In your own personal life, there are times that you may sometimes get frustrated when you don't have a sense of this is where I'm going, or this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And at that point, you may not make progress. So that's where self-leadership even comes in. Number 2, leadership drives change and turns obstacles into opportunity. Please, just a moment. Just a moment. All right. Thank you. Number 2, it drives change and turns obstacles into the world does not stand still. The market shifts, technology evolves, and we see society getting transformed. You see, leadership is what individuals and even institutions, from what they are familiar with to the future. For example, look at the AI revolution. Leadership is what can help a whole department to become, to take advantage of the artificial intelligence. If there's no leadership, people can be grounded, glued to what they're familiar with because of the fear of the unknown. They will not see opportunities. There are people who don't keep their money in the banks because to them, they are unable to see their advantage. Now, that may even be fair enough. Compare the conventional banking system with the modern days, banking system, the online banking system. Sometimes you wonder what the conventional banks are still doing. Why these online banks have almost taken over all customers. You can open a bank account not leaving your room. You don't even have to go. In fact, you can collect your ATM not going anywhere. But with the conventional banks, you still struggle to do some of these things. You see the difference between them and what you are seeing with some of these online banking is leadership, driving change, turning obstacles. People with endless queue, people with queue, they want to collect ATM. Somebody is able to see opportunity there. This is a market. So we are training you to see opportunity in progress. Number 3, leadership builds trust. Leadership builds culture and organization integrity. What that implies is that people do not just follow strategies. They follow people they trust. For example, if someone should say, all University of Ilorin students, you will be paying monthly contribution of 50 naira or 500 naira every month. We want to use that money to have a well organized end of the year or end of the whole academic journey program for you. See, what will make you to contribute the money willingly is that you trust the person saying you should contribute. You may not be willing to contribute because if there's no trust, what do they want to do with our money? All these ones that have been collected, what are they doing? When you begin to exercise unbelief, it's because leadership is missing. So when there is trust, it's because there is leadership there. Leadership is all about building trust. So when we talk about culture, leadership shapes the character of an organization, what they value, their ethics, their identity. You see, a strong leader builds a culture where there is integrity, where there is excellence and accountability, and all of this become their normal way of life without any exception. I heard about a young CEO here in Ilorin who runs a laundry shop, and if you take your clothes there and they find money kept in your pockets, they will give it back to you. That is culture. That is, that's leadership. In that place, that's their ethic, that's their identity. So I said, wow, that's already, you see, your culture is what you do when nobody is watching you. That's about leadership. Number 4, very quickly. Leadership unlocks hidden potential in people. See, this is where you should pay attention. Behind every great achievement that you do are people who were believed in, people who were developed, people who were challenged to do more. You that you are hearing me, you can do more than you are doing now. There is more inside you. You are made to make a difference. There is hidden potential inside of you that must be unlocked, but it takes a leader to unlock it. It takes self-leadership as well to unlock it. So leadership sees potential that others overlook and creates environments where people can grow. So when you say you're a leader, how many people have you helped to grow in your department? You are a scholar. Have you successfully raised more scholars? You are skillful, maybe in graphic design, maybe in web development. You are skillful in public speaking. Have you trained any person? Have you identified people within your space that you could train, develop? That's unlocking. So when we say a leader is somebody that can call forth what is hidden in others. Number next, leadership ensures sustainability and lasting legacy. That's leadership. Organizations that outlive their founders do so because leadership was embedded in their culture. When you see a company say, we've been in the establishment since 1801, you are wondering about 200 years ago, you have been operating. When you hear a school says established in 16 something, it is because there is leadership. When there is no leadership, there is a particular company here in this Lawrence, and I heard about the story. I'm not going to mention it because of the sake of decency and, of course, privacy. This company, the owner of the land was a rich man. And if I'm not mistaken, also established a company on that land. But the children, because they lacked leadership, they sold out everything. And in the long run, after they sold out everything, the people that bought it later, made the place out of bound for them. Out of bound for them. So when there's no leadership, there will be no sustainability. So leadership ensures sustainability. Lastly, leadership solves problems with clarity and courage. You see, every challenge, whether in academics, in business, whether in student governments, whether in your community, your hostel, ultimately requires a leadership to solve it. Leadership brings clarity to complexity. So all of this, you will note that from all of these that we have said, there is nothing about title, the name of the person, and the SUG. People can compete. Why we respect that office. Very important. Office are necessary. Does not necessarily need the seat to make a difference. To make a difference. So leadership brings clarity to complexity, and courage in crisis, and creativity to stagnation. Let's move to the next. Now, we want to explore different leadership styles. Different leadership styles. I want to believe you are following. If you are following, let me have your comments in the chat box that you are following. I want to know you are following. All right. I want to see your comment. And for those of you who are watching from YouTube, ensure you like and also drop your comment. Everybody, drop your comment, like the page, and subscribe, please. That's one of the ways you can support us in doing this good work, in building the leaders that make a difference in their generation. Even those of you who have joined on Zoom, we encourage you to still like our pages, particularly YouTube, and of course the social media. Thank you. All right, thank you. I can see the comments. Thank you. You are following. Thank you so much. All right. So, moving forward, we want to look at different leadership styles. There is a psychologist named Daniel Goleman. Daniel Goleman is an influential psychologist. and he's also a science journalist and also an author. He was known for popularizing what we call emotional intelligence. He said that there are 6 distinct leadership styles. By research, he observed that there are 6 distinct leadership styles that profoundly impact the emotions of those that you lead. It impacts the emotions. It affects the people you lead. There are 6 different styles. It's possible you have one. It's possible you combine them so that you will know which is best. And of course, in the course of this training, you understand whether one is best or not. The first is visionary leadership style. In visionary leadership style, it means that when a person is visionary, and that is a style of leadership, the person harnesses the power of inspiration. That person creates a vibrant future by painting a compelling picture to other people to see. That kind of leader will say, people, let's come. Do you know that we can all graduate to first class? Do you know that we can start a company? He is painting a picture that people cannot see. It could be a leader on the football field and say, guys, come, do you know we can win this match? Do you know we can give them 5-0? Somebody can come and say, wow, do you know that we can actually create a solution for our department? Do you know we can build an app? That's the visionary leader. Something that people are not seeing. The person share their vision to, fostering a sense of purpose and direction. That's visionary leadership. It calls others together and say, come, I foresee that this can happen at the department. We can repaint this school. We can, and then you see him casting vision. That's a visionary leader. So he paints a compelling future and inspires others to share their vision. That's one side. Number 2, coaching. There is coaching leadership style. This kind of leadership style is all about empowering individuals, and nurturing members, guiding them, supporting them, so that you unlock their potential. And you do this by focusing on each person's personal development. This kind of leaders, they cultivate an environment of continuous improvement. That's coaching side. The next is affiliative. In affiliative side, this kind of leaders, they create a positive atmosphere, that fosters a sense of belonging, team bonding, team harmony. People belong, they feel like I belong here. This kind of leaders, they foster or enhance collaboration and collective success. They make people understand, see, I can't do it alone. They value the emotional well-being of others. This kind of leaders, they prioritize harmonious relationship with their team members. He wants to see everybody happy. He wants to see everybody happy. He wants to see everybody doing well. Number 4 is democratic leadership. In democratic leadership, this involves the team. This kind of people, leaders, they involve the team members in decisions. And they do that by allowing others to participate and ensuring that they all reach a consensus when they want to make a decision. So that's another kind of leadership. And that's what the word democracy came for. That is for the people. You people should decide, what should we do? What is best for you? Whatever we agree on is what we are going to do. That's another style of leadership. There is another style of leadership that is the pace-setting leadership. This kind of leadership is about setting the bar of high performance. This kind of leaders, they lead by example. They tell people, see what I've done. You two go and do likewise. It could be that the person, they are contributing money, and they say, we need 100,000 in this department. You see, a person that can put down 20,000 and say, I'm putting down this amount. He accepts the pace, and people begin to give. They say, wow, as a team lead, the person gave 20,000 or gave more. So there is pace setting. And then there is another type of leadership which is commanding leadership style. This provides clear direction. This kind of leaders, they take charge. They make decisions without extensive consultation. They don't ask too much question. You see, it is characterized by strong direction and clear expectation. This kind of leadership style, of course, can be effective when there is urgency or crisis. More like giving command. Everybody move out now. Maybe something happened in the department. So those are the different styles of leadership. But before we look at self-awareness, because of my time, I'll move into self-awareness now. I would have loved to quickly also speak on where and when each of these leadership styles are very relevant. But because of time, let's move to self-awareness. And I want to explain self-awareness with this fictional character called Shola. Shola was the president of his faculty at the University of Ilorin. He's a smart, a self-driven and respected person by everyone who didn't work directly with him. But behind the scenes, something was wrong. His executive members, they have stopped talking to him, they stopped suggesting ideas, and they have stopped hearing what goes in his team. Meetings that he holds or he held then felt like punishment. Then one evening, his treasurer named Tunde gathered the courage to speak with Shola and said, Shola, you don't listen to people. He said it quietly to Shola. We feel like but instead of arguing, he kept quiet and went to and sat with the uncomfortable truths. That night, Shola saw himself clearly for the first time. Not as the leader that he thought he was, but as the leader that he is now becoming. The next morning, he stood before his team and apologized. And in that moment, he learned that real leadership begins not with speaking, but with seeing yourself as others see you. This speaks to self-awareness. The more aware you are in leadership, the better you become at leading. So what is self-awareness and why does it matter? Self-awareness is the conscious knowledge of your own character, how you behave, how you treat people, your feelings, your motives, your desires, while you are relating with people. It is the ability to see yourself clearly and objectively from the eyes of others, not subjectively now. Just like psychologist Daniel Goleman, rather, has said, he argues that self-awareness is the most important competency for leaders. And this involves number one, self-awareness. Self-awareness. Number two, accurate self-assessment. You know your strength and your weakness. Sometimes when you don't know what you cannot do, when you need to delegate, you may be forcing yourself, trying to perform, whereas you would have just delegated it. People who don't know themselves, they will not likely lead better. Number three, self-confidence. Having a strong sense of worth for yourself and for the abilities you possess. You are secure. There are leaders who are very insecure. Student leaders who are very insecure. They cannot delegate others. They feel, if I'm not there, it will not work. You don't have money to be there. You need to believe people. They can do it. All right, let's move on. So why? I would have not explained further because of time, but in the course of our training, you get to learn more. Why does self-awareness matters in leadership? The first is because of the trust that people we place in you. You see, when we talk about trust or being authentic, people trust leaders who are genuine. See, when you know who you are, you don't have to pretend to be someone else. As a leader, you can tell your team leader, say, oh, I'm not good at this. So and so is good at this. She will be the one to handle it, or he will be the one to handle it. People will love you and appreciate you. You don't have to pretend. They want you to be authentic. That is why self-awareness matters. When you know yourself, when you carry out a SWOT analysis of yourself, a leader can say, oh, I'm not good at record keeping. And then because of that, that leader can say, so and so, please, I delegate you to take our record. You don't have to know how to do everything. You just need to know what you are good at and stay, keep to your strength and work on your weakness. Number two, self-awareness is important because of emotional regulation. What does that mean? That is the ability to control and manage your emotional reactions, especially during stressful and challenging situations. You see, you not really know the true color of a leader until there are challenges. Some people we just, they will spill out. Some people we end up people fighting their team members. Some people have had or have seen people created maybe WhatsApp group, and because of emotional, trigger, somebody can decide to scatter everybody in the group and remove everybody and leave the group. You gather people and then you send them away just because at the point you were distressed. You need to understand emotional regulation. How do you do that? Sometimes you have to pause before you respond to difficult situations. Taking time to think. Emotional regulation. You don't have to always give a comment. You don't have to speak every time. You recognizing what triggers your emotion. You knowing when to step out of a place. They already arguing, and you know that, oh, you will likely explode. As a leader, you will need to step out and go and take the time to think and see that situation from another angle, from another perspective, and then you respond very well. You see, people begin to lose respect for a leader when your voice begins to become weak as you speak, and they could say that you are almost crying, even in the course of your expressing your feelings. You don't have to. You need to speak bold, confident, and mature. And if at that moment you cannot, afford to do that, you step out. Stepping out is not weakness, it's strength. Emotional regulation, very important. Number three is adaptability. And what does that mean as well? You see, adaptability refers to a leader's ability to adjust your behavior, your communication style, and your strategies depending on the situation or people involved. Imagine you have to go somewhere. You have to go somewhere. You want to have a competition to lead your team members to go and do. And you all agree that you are going to meet by 9 a.m. or by 10 a.m. The competition is going to be by, let's say, 12 p.m. Or you agree to meet by 10 a.m. And then by the time you get there, you've arranged with the driver to come and pick you. And possibly you have even paid the driver. And 10:30, the driver has not come. All your team members are there. And then as a team leader, they are saying, oh, you told us this man is going to come. We contributed money. With this thing, we thought it's settled already. And then you feel like, oh, what's this? And then you start calling the man. Bad driver, what happened? I told you to come by 10. You've disappointed me. And then you are from this place, that bus will carry us go and will carry us back. And now the competition is short road, but your driver that you are ready with is not forthcoming. What do you do as a leader? How do you adapt? Would you be ready to take counsel and say, guys, event happens in life. We can still achieve our goals, even despite the disappointment. I'm sorry that happened, but please let's find a way out. Let's find a way out. Is there any other alternative? Do we need to call maybe another driver to carry us? Somebody that we not even liaise with. You see, leadership has a lot with adaptability. It's not rigidity. It has to do with being flexible, taking counsel, ensuring that things work, regardless of disappointments. Or you also, okay, we are not going again. If the driver is not coming, then we are not going again. No, no. Handling, that has to do with crisis management. And then, this is very important for leaders. The last aspect of it is better relationships. Self-awareness is important. You need to know yourself. Understanding yourself makes it easier to understand and connect with others. If you don't understand yourself, your weakness, your strengths, you may not be able to connect with others. You see, a leader will always employ people who are better than himself. People who, you staff your weakness. That's the way leadership is. You staff your weakness. At the same time, you enhance your strengths, but you staff your weakness. People who are good in the areas you are not good. The same way, there are people that are in your team who can do some things you cannot do, but you need to understand your own self first. And those are the very reasons why leadership is important. We are about rounding up, and now I want to talk about personal values. Personal values in leadership. Personal values. But before then, I would like to also ask if you are following and if you actually understand what I'm communicating to you. Let me have your response through the chat box. All right. Thank you, Khadija. If you are following and you're actually getting some values from this class, following and understood. All right. Thank you. So we are talking about, we've actually looked at what leadership is. We've looked at even why it matters. We have looked at self-awareness, knowing yourself. And now I want to look at personal values. Personal values, very, very important.
Quickly, sir, before you continue.
Thank you.
All right, sir. So, attendance link has been dropped in the chat box. Each and everyone should click on that to fill in the attendance link. And for those on YouTube, also those on Zoom, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and also engage with the company social media handle by liking, following, and retweeting each post that is being made there. So please check the chat box. Those on YouTube, check the chat box. Those on Zoom, check the chat box. The attendance link has been dropped. You can proceed, sir.
Thank you so much, moderator. So if you have any question as well, please do well to drop them. I mean, create time before we round up the class to answer a few of them and find a way to answer on the group. We have a WhatsApp platform to continue our discussion where clarity is needed. Now, talking about personal values in leadership. Personal values in leadership. Someone said, if self-awareness is the mirror, values are the compass. Values will tell, will dictate how you release yourself, what you do with yourself. So, what are personal values? These are the fundamental beliefs. So, when they say, what are your values? What are your core values? These are foundational, fundamental, the very basis of your living, the fundamental beliefs that guide your personal behavior and your decision making. They are the principles that are most important to you. You must have personal values. And we have an example of them. They are not limited to this. But the first, in fact, somebody said that the one and the only value that is indispensable, non-negotiable for any true leader is integrity. If you have other things and there is no integrity, all other things, they cannot stand. Integrity is the bedrock of every value. regardless of the religion. Integrity. Integrity. So the next thing, innovation. These are part of, they are leaders that, as a leader, is innovation part of your value. There are people who are just, they are stuck with the old way of doing things. No new thing about them. No new thing. They are not innovative. They are not creative. There are some organizations like Major. Innovation is part of the core value. You just have to think outside the box. How do you achieve this thing? In fact, the motto from our judge says, nothing is impossible. All things are possible. All things are possible. If you can think it is possible. Another example of core value or personal value is empathy. Empathy is not the same thing with sympathy. Empathy is now you putting yourself in the shoe of other. As a leader, empathy is crucial. Imagine you ask somebody to do something, and then you call the person, so and so, I will get that thing done. And then the person says, sorry, I'm having stomach upsets. Sorry, I will not be able to achieve that. And as a leader, what do you say? You had your team member say, sorry, I have stomach upset. Your team member says, sorry, because of the stomach upset, I cannot be able to do what you gave me. And then the next thing you are going to say is that, what are you telling me? Are you telling me you are not going to do it? I hate disappointment. You know you would not have done somebody has stomach upset. Put yourself in the person's shoe. Even if you will encourage the person to find a way to achieve it, your words, that's where adaptability comes in. Adapting to that situation. That, oh, sorry. And then you ask the person whether the person has taken medication. You ask the person whether the person has eaten. You are putting yourself in the shoe. Some person will not able to do as if they had the person say, I have stomach, stomach pain. The next thing is, okay, what about the task I gave you? So what are you going to do about it? And then the person is thinking, are you that, stone-hearted? You didn't hear what I said? So empathy is very crucial in leadership. Accountability. Leadership must be accountable. A leader must be accountable. When they contribute money, they say they want to buy something for the department. And then the whole session has finished, nothing is bought. And then people have spent their money and they are saying, I can't add issues. Oh, you are losing accountability. You are already missing out part of the core values, personal values as a leader. Excellence. Excellence is not about perfection. Excellence is commitment to continuous improvement. It's okay that you don't know it, but are you ready to learn? A leader must be ever learning. Somebody said, when you stop learning, you start dying. When you stop learning, you start dying. Would you still read the book after you graduate? You see, what makes you successful in life are the books you read after your degree. PhD is not even enough. The books you read after you have the certificates, the master classes you attend. You may need to work on your spoken English. You may need to work on quite a number of things, even dressing, speaking, even relationship, quite a number of things. Your is important as a leader. Family is everything. That's where you go back to. After the stress and the struggle of the day, your family, and it begins with even your roommate. Is your hostel a lively place to return to, or a place where there is war, where there is unrest, where there is unbelief and threats and the suspects? No, not suspicion. You are suspecting everybody. You are criticizing everybody. You don't even sleep at home, you sleep in school. As a leader, you must have family, people you can turn to, people that you have built, connection with, who value you and you value them. Because you know yourself and you also appreciate their loyalty. Leaders are first followers. If you cannot serve, you cannot lead. If you are too big to serve, you are too small to lead. You must be loyal. These are values that must be in your personal life as a leader. Let me move on because of my time. All right. Oh, sorry. Yes. So, very quickly, I will speak on the link between values and leadership. And I'll be wrapping up with that. And I'll be ready to take your questions. How do you connect values and leadership? Your values determine how you react to pressure and how you treat people. For example, if your core value is integrity, you will be honest with your team even when the news is bad. Can you see? Even when the news is bad, you will still be honest. You will still be sincere with them. Do you know that there are leaders who forge results or reports? Imagine somebody goes for competition and he didn't perform well, only to come back and tell the team members, oh, we did very well. The team members can be those who send you out to go out on the competition. You didn't have a leader integrity, regardless of how I feel, I will tell the truth. Sometimes you may need to also confront a team member that is not doing well. Integrity, saying it as it is, being honest, that's integrity. Even though you are respectful, yet you are honest. So and so, I do not appreciate what you are doing. You are underperforming in this area. That's a leader. Even when the news that you are going to give is bad, you don't need to falsify results. You don't need to be very diplomatic with your words. Say the truth in humility. Another example, if your core value is growth, you will invest time in mentoring and developing others, not just using them. Even if it is slow or it slows down your team temporarily, you know that when people grow, the results that they will give will also grow. And that will tell that this leader is a leader that values growth. Did you ever organize, growth meeting for your team members? How they can achieve better? Even in school, you can organize a webinar with your department, with certain persons, invite somebody to speak to them on how to achieve academic excellence, how to balance academic with maybe other areas of their lives. We would know that the person doing this is somebody that values growth. And there are other aspects as well of leadership. Each of these connects together. They connect together. All right, so let me quickly give room for questions before I come to the conclusion. Let me know if there are questions. Please type in your questions. So as we conclude, what are the things I would want you to take away with you today? Number one, leadership is influence. It is influencing people. You don't have to contend and compete for a post before you agree that you're a leader. If you begin to work on all these things that we've learned, you'll discover that people respect you. They will give you even the position freely that you are not even demanding because you have the quality of a leader. If a person has a title and lacks all of these things, the person is not a leader, but a benchwoman. Another thing I want you to take up, which is that the style of leadership is situational. Situational leadership was not mentioned as part of the six, but putting the six together, we arrive at what we call situational leadership. And it has been found out that great leaders adapt their style to the context and the people they lead. There are times you may need to command your team. Please, everybody, let's get to work now. Command it. There are times you may need to appeal and cast vision. Tell your team, oh, let us not be discouraged. I see the possibility of achieving this task. Let us go this route. Let us do it this way. You are casting vision, visionary leadership. So the best leaders adapt their styles when they check the context and they check even the people they are leading. Then they look at what is best at this time. That's why you have to grow your leadership skill. You may not have it, but it's something you can learn. Leadership is a skill and you can learn it. And that's the essence of this training. The last thing, or second to the last, I want you to hold from today's class is that you need to know yourself. When you know yourself, you can grow yourself. I read a story of a lady called John Netta. John is the name of a man, but now a lady, John Netta Maxwell. The lady had several childhood problems. Several childhood problems. She was being abused and harassed and molested as a child. There were three young ladies staying with their grandmothers, and in that family, they had three uncles living with the grandmother. Those three uncles, they assaulted those young girls, they harassed them, they abused them. And because of that, this lady called John Netta had serious battles, challenges, emotional traumas as she grew up. She ended up living on the streets. Her other siblings, some of them resorted to taking of drugs and other vices. And then, in the long run, she ended up surviving by money she collected from boyfriends. In the course of that, she had two boys or two children out of wedlock with no father, and then she kept on struggling. One day, she looked into the mirror and she was telling herself that there's nothing meaningful about her life. She cannot achieve anything in life. She's a non-entity. But she looked at her children and said, I don't want these my boys to end up like me. What do I need to do? And then something spoke inside her. But you can change your life. But you can work on yourself. You can do it. You can become better. And then she decided she's going to go to school. And then started working, tried to go for coaching, enrolled herself, tried the exam twice. She later passed, and she was later able to get the certificate that will qualify her for the university. Went to the university, and she was able to graduate within 3 years and batch that degree. After that, she pressed forward and said, I can go for more. I can go for more. She ended up having a master. At the time the writer of that book was writing, the lady was working on batching a PhD certificates. She changed her life. At the moment when she realized who she was, that she can become better. When you know yourself, you can grow yourself. When you believe that your life is small, regardless of your current CGPA, you will not give up. Somebody who had no parents ended up becoming a PhD holder, and she made a difference in life. You too can do more. Values guide your action. That's the last thing. Your personal values, the value excellence. Don't be among the people that say school is a scam. It's not. Make a difference. There is no school that will make you a giant. Every giant makes giants of himself from any school. These days, does not really matter the school you go. The school will give you wings. It is your choice to fly to any heights. University is not a limited school. You are in a school that can actually make a difference in your life if you are ready to fly. Your personal values are the compass that will keep you grounded in difficult times, and that will help you to remain focused even as leader. Welcome to a watch of leadership, a watch that is spacious enough for you to try. Please take this with you. You are made for more. Thank you once again for having me to take you on this first model of leadership. With this, I want to say thank you. Let me have your questions.
Thank you very much, Engineer Uriade, for that enlightening section on leadership and self-awareness. Let's appreciate our teacher, our facilitator for today. That has been a very enlightening section. Yes, thank you, thank you. I can see those clapping hands. So drop your questions in the chat box if you have any questions for him. Drop it in the chat box, and those on YouTube as well. You can drop your questions on the chat box as well. Please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, and also on the company social media handles. The links have been shared across all social platforms, your WhatsApp and Telegram. It has been shared across. Kindly do well by following, liking the post on the pages as well. You can start dropping your question in the chat box so we can do justice to that.
No question. Is there any question?
Good afternoon. Please go ahead. So we have just about 15 minutes or 10 minutes for this question. Moderator, how many minutes? Because of time. Let me know how many minutes I have for the question. Miriam, please.
Yeah, 20 minutes, sir. 20 minutes, sir.
How many minutes?
20 minutes today. 20 minutes, sir.
Oh, all right, thank you. So let's keep it on with the questions.
2 minutes, sir.
So will Miriam moderate the questions for me so that I will just...
Okay, let me start with YouTube. Can you hear me?
Miriam, are you still there? I think we had network glitch due to the rain.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you.
All right. So for YouTube, we have a question from Sammy. Can shy people lead? How can I step up as someone that wants to lead? Then we have another question from Oluwaji.
How can someone do what?
Can shy people lead? That's the question. Then furthermore, she now said, how can I step up? Shy, someone that is shy.
Shy. Okay, shy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Then she further explained and said, how can I step up as someone that wants to lead?
Okay. So let me take those questions. Why we expect others? Number one, can shy person lead? The answer is yes and no. Yes, because you can improve. No, if you don't improve, you cannot lead. I hope that answers your question. You
Another question from
Okay,
when a leader makes a mistake,
yes.
When a leader makes a mistake, what is the best way to handle it? Then further explanation. How can leader balance listening to others while still making firm decisions?
Okay. Thank you. Let me now do this. You've given me 4 questions. I've answered one, even though that was very direct. The person said, can shy people lead? I've answered that you can lead if you grow. And that's why you attend leadership classes you will become better. You take responsibility as a shy person. Learn to start from the areas where you are not shy. Because you find out that the place where he or she begin to find those moments, there are no shy people really. It's just that you may not be comfortable in your own space. There are places you are not expected to lead in every your space, know your domain, know your terrain, and stay there. There are people that they are leaders on the field, football field. There are those who are leaders in sports. There are those who are leaders in music. But all of these, regardless of your space, you must have the quality of a leader, the life, all those qualities you've learned. If they are not there, the integrity, the empathy, emotional intelligence, if you don't have them, whether you are shy or you are spoken, that's not what makes you a leader. Yes, shyness is just that's personality type, which we are going to talk about later. How do you maximize your personality type? There are still leaders of the world today, billionaires, who are shy person, that if they are to call them to come and talk on the TV, they are not likely to show up. They don't really like even going out like that, but they are impacting their organizations. And they serve people, they serve people who will always represent them to go and speak. So it's not about showing up. Leadership is way more than that. So number two, somebody wants to step up as a leader, and you are at a particular level, you feel you can do more. You start by there is the law of process in leadership. Leadership evolves. Leadership is a journey. Leadership is not overnight, it's over time. Please take note. Leadership develops over time, not overnight. You don't just jump from point A to point D. The law of process. You may start learning to read books. If you want to step up, start learning to read books. The more information you have, it will come to a time that you will have so much in you. And like a gas, it will keep coming. Even if you pressurize it, you will be loaded that we have information to share almost on any topic because you are taking time to invest. The best way to invest is in yourself, and you must take time to do that. So, and if you cannot invest in yourself, that's because you don't see you don't see value in yourself. And that's where self-awareness comes in. I told you, you need to be aware of who you are before you can grow yourself. That lady I told you, John, spoke within her that you can make a difference. Even though your background was bad, your back does not necessarily on the ground. You can make a difference. So when people invest into certain things, be it cryptocurrency, be it land banking or real estate, it's because they see value in that thing. If you see value in yourself, you will into yourself. How many books have you read this year? So if you want to step up, invest time into yourself, buy books, any area you want to grow, gather knowledge first about that area of your life. So that is answer to stepping up. The third person says, when a leader makes mistake, what do you do? You see, mistakes are almost inevitable, even though you can minimize them when you take counsel. When you look before you leave, you can actually minimize mistake or make calculated mistakes. But you need to learn that when it happens, owning up. That's what we talk about. We discussed it in the course of the class. That let me quickly try to recall that aspect of my presentation that argued that even under integrity, yes, that's integrity actually, that whether it's bad, positive or negative, you're able to say, oh, this is what happened, I'm sorry. Owning up, admitting that you are false, it matters a lot. A particular leader, true life story, handled a report given to him in a very wrong way, and he had problem with the team members, and they reported him to the higher authority of the coordinating organization that we don't know what is happening to this our leader. His behavior is just having issues with us, and we don't think all of these things are necessary. From his own point of view, if he felt was actually behaving well, if he felt the way he handled the situation was right, But when the higher authority spoke about it, and they helped him to see clearly, he was made to understand that is wrong. Do you know what he did? When in the same room, the hostel where they were lodged overnight, after the meeting with the higher authority of that organization, he stood very early in the morning. He stood in the midst of all of them. They were still sleeping, but they were fast waking up. Some of them were already waking up, maybe doing their meditation and all of that. And then he called all of them. And then he says, "My people, I'm very, very sorry." He said he's very sorry. Another person, part of owing up when you make a mistake. A student leader at University of Ilorin is now a top leader, and the team lead or the champion person of the body called Sound Character, the movement called Sound Character, is also an alumni of University of Ilorin, or an alumnus of University of Ilorin rather. And then he said when he was the class captain, one of the days, just one day, I think he cheated. He helped somebody, maybe he gave his scripts or wrote somebody something for someone, and then I guess he was caught or something. Then after he was caught that he did malpractice, he was the class captain, the class rep. He later stood in front of everyone and said, "Everyone, I'm sorry, I disappointed you. I'm not worthy of being your class captain because of these that I've done." Everybody, became sober, and they forgave him that he should continue with the work, that they understand with him, and that he should just ensure that he maintains integrity and live up to the standard expected of him. Leaders must own up when you make mistakes. The fourth one, how do you balance listening with making decision? Yes, you have to listen. When you listen, you will be able to reason well. When you hear the perspective of others, then you make decision after you have considered right and left. That's what we call critical thinking, system thinking. And that can only happen when you hear the perspective of others. Leaders don't make decisions, in haste. Of course, there are times you need to make quick decisions. So there is one aspect of leaders, we call it instincts. And that is still based on information. That's why, as a leader, you must be on the top of your game. You must be a person who is keeping abreast with the trend of developments, and also you are keeping abreast with history. You have information. A leader is not, rash in decision making. You don't make decisions that will lead your team into error. When you are not sure, it's better you wait. If you need to say, "Sorry, I don't know what to do at this moment, please let me take some time to think." It can be as that, as that simple. You don't have to make a decision because you feel time is going. Let me just decide. If you are not sure, but when you make that decision, it must have been that you have that conviction that what you are saying is going to work out. So there is the instinct aspect of leadership, but that instinct is not based on emptiness. It is based on what a leader knows. A leader is not a non-entity. It is somebody that is also well informed. And there are times he just decides, "Let's do this," and it happens. So, but when you don't know what to do, please buy time by telling your people that you need them to suggest to you. You are taking your time to think, even through a suggestion. I hope that helps. Can I have more questions?
All right, thank you very much, sir, for that. So on Zoom, we have Olasukome Otman. Regarding the core values of a leader, which core value should him or her pursue the most, sir? Is it integrity or growth?
Thank you. Now, the question is, okay, another one. Let me take them. Noted.
For someone who doesn't see themselves as a natural leader, where is the best place to start building that capability? 2. How can a leader ensure they are creating positive change that lasts beyond their own involvement? 3. Is it possible for someone to be a good leader if they are not a good person? Can unethical individuals still be considered great leaders? We have a lot of questions on Zoom, but I think we just do justice to few of them, because while giving justice to those that was asked on YouTube, you have answered most of the questions being asked on Zoom here. So another question for you, sir, is: can a person be an effective leader if their personal value conflicts with the organization value? So that will be all
Sorry,
we
repeat
take in
that.
command.
Repeat that, please.
Okay, can a person be an effective leader if their personal values conflict with the organization values?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let me answer those ones.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the first question is core value of a leader. Which one should I even pursue? Integrity, or should I go for growth, or other values like excellence, empathy, and all of that? Yes, the truth is that there is no particular place or particular core value that you can say is the best. Let me just go for this, even at the mercy of others. But it is okay to start somewhere. Just pick a point. This month, I want to work on integrity. I want to understand what it is. I want to check whether I have this. You don't have to spend a year building integrity. All of these things can be built, but one at a time. Regardless of the one you pick, and you can pick all at the same time. Just list out another of the assignment I'm going to give you. That assignment will be that list out your values. What are the things that you cannot compromise? The things that no matter what happens, you would not. If somebody says this person cannot steal, it means that, see, even if you kill him, I know this person, he may do other things, but he does not steal. They are trying to tell you that there is one core value with this person. Be silly, but he's telling lie. He needs to work on that aspect of his life. That he does not steal, but that guy he tell lie like anything. He needs to work on it. So the answer is that start somewhere. Start from listing what you have. If you're asking this question, I suppose that, or I'm presuming that you are a person that has values in his life or life. So list out some of these values. Look at which one people already notice in your life, and then you look at which one is like something you are weak on. Maybe you find yourself not always wanting to tell the truth. You always want to colonize the truth. Start working on that one. So you uphold your strengths. The one you have, hold it fast. The one that you are weak in, start working on it. That is my counsel for you, or my answer to you when you say core value, which one should you pursue? List them out. The ones that just write indispensable values that I must possess in my life. Then list them out. Integrity, excellence. Then you ask yourself, on the scale of 1 to 10, what can I give myself when it comes to integrity? But you may first need to define them, because if you don't know what they mean, you may not know whether you have them. So what does integrity mean to you? What does excellence imply? Somebody may be thinking excellence that having first class, and then because your CGPA is low, you think you are not excellent. Excellence is pursuing growth, commitment to continuous improvement. You may graduate with, there are people who graduate with third class, and today they are founded company, employing people. How did he get there? Somebody who is a first class is even thinking, how will I get a job? The person who had third class already, the person is writing books, founding company. I'm telling you that when you believe yourself, there's no limit to the excellence you will attain, but start from somewhere. Second question: what is the best place to start? I want to now begin to ask. The best place to start is self-leadership. You cannot lead people beyond the level you have led yourself. You can't teach people what you don't know. You cannot give what you don't have. The first thing is lead yourself. What time do you wake up? Do you have discipline? Do you have routine? If you struggle to wake up, that's not a leadership life. That alarm will ring, you will silence it, you will not stand up. They will beg you to pray. You don't pray. You don't read your Bible or your holy book or do any meditation. You hardly even iron your clothes. You don't even plan your week. So you start from self-leadership. When you lead yourself, people will naturally be following you. They want to even associate with you. See, you don't demand who you want, you attract who you are. Your life will attract who will want to follow you. A person who is pursuing excellence will not come and be following somebody who is a mediocre, who is not interested in growth. So I encourage you to start by investing into yourself. Check your daily life. What do I need to change? When do I wake up? When I wake up, what do I do with my time? What have I achieved today? How organized are you? Do you even write notes? Do you even have records? Do you even know what next now in your school calendar? Are you on point? Or the life is scattered, no planning? So be encouraged. Number three, how to create change that lasts, even in organization. You build systems, structures. Yes, there must be a growth system, a development system, whatever you know. Build a system of training people to also know it, so that when you are not there, they can do it. Delegate. Let there be a system of passing knowledge across team members. Whatever you know, before you leave, you must raise others. That's why they do handing over in every meaningful organization. Before you go, hand over to somebody, train somebody, pass down the knowledge, mentor somebody. So if you want to build impact that will last beyond your life or last beyond your generation, raise people, invest into people. They will later be the one upholding you. The fourth question: unethical leaders, can they be termed as great leaders? The definition of your greatness is what will now make them to be termed as great leaders. You need to determine, what do you call great leaders? Greatness. Somebody said leadership at the highest point is that you have helped others to become better. Pardon. If somebody is unethical, if somebody is stealing, somebody kills, even though he's a leader, somebody is leading terrorists, even though he's commanding influence, they respect him. But this is unethical. You make people cry. You Unethical leaders are not great leaders, they are bad leaders. So leadership is influence, but when we talk about what we call true leadership, is that people become better. People are living for meaningful cause. So don't ever call an unethical leader a great leader. Somebody who will always find dubious means to achieve, you know, uh, his or her goal. Somebody is a student, but we always cheat to pass. That's not a successful student. What kind of example is that person giving? It won't work. Whatsoever you are doing that you cannot tell people to follow your example is not, that's not leadership. That's poor living. That person needs to change. And then the person can now start becoming a good leader. That's a bad leader. So never term an unethical leader as a good leader. Somebody who falsify accounts in the company to make the company appear profitable, eh, in the marketplace. And then by the time they're asking them their company record, they are already falsifying their profits. That's a company in the West, the Western aspect of the world, became bankrupt because of falsifying records. They begin to report that they made huge profits when they were making losses, so that they will keep the respect. But it was not too long when all of those lies catch up with them, and people had to remove their money from that institution, and they went belly up. So unethical leadership is not to be stand as good leadership. The last one I'm going to attend to is can you be an effective leader? The word effective there, make impact, affect the organization. When your personal leadership values conflict organization values, you we need to first do analysis. What are the conflicting organization values, and what are your own values that are conflicting? So you may not thrive where there is always conflict. That's what I want you to know. If you are working in a place and each time you go there, it's always what these people are doing, I don't like it. You will not make any real impact there, honestly. Because for you to make impact, there must be enthusiasm, there must be motivation. It must be a place that is welcoming. It must be a place that you belong to. So if you feel like I don't belong here, so of course there could be one or two things you don't agree with. But if what defines you are more than what combines you or what pulls you together, you can make impact. But if what puts you together is far more than the differences, I'll give you an example. Let's take a case of a master, a person who is a trainer and an apprentice, and the young boy is learning, or the man is learning. Let me not use the word young boy now. Let's say, of course, a young adult. The man is learning under a master, and the master used to smoke or used to drink, or the master, but the master is very skillful, very good at what he does. But there are areas of his life that this young man does not agree with. The young man can still make impact, even in the life of his master, because there is the business side of the man's life that the boy needs to learn, and he needs to be very careful now of the influence of that man on the other side. And that's where defining relationship. Oh, you are training me, I'm learning skill. So it's not now to influence the life as to me. Tonight you are going to follow me to party and all of that because you are learning under me. All of those things must be clarified. And I believe with that, you can still make impact. Even learning under somebody, the person can begin to see from your own perspective, maybe some of the things he or she is doing that is bad. And if it is not something bad, then you can let it go while you focus on what actually brought you into that organization. So long is not in sharp contrast with your values. I hope that helps. That will be the last question I will attend to because of time. Over to you, moderator. Thank you for having me, everyone. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Over to you,
Thank
Sarah.
you very much, sir. Thank you for
Thank you so much
putting
for
understanding. Sorry, please mute your mic. Yes, you can drop a reaction for the facilitator for today's class. We really appreciate, and we hope to see everyone become an effective leader as discussed. Seeing that leadership is not just about holding a position, it is about influence, responsibility, and the ability to inspire others toward a shared goal. So as we come to the end of today's section, we would like to sincerely appreciate our facilitator for the insightful presentation on understanding leadership and self-awareness. He did a perfect justice to that, and I hope we all have one or two things at the back of our mind from what was being discussed today or learned today. So I would like to thank all our participants for your time, attention, and active participation throughout the section. We hope the knowledge shared today will guide us in becoming self-aware and effective leaders. So thank you all once again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in our next class. Do have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much, everybody.